Hi everyone, welcome back to Careers, Joy and Sorrow for Every Industry. My name is Serene and I'm the host for this episode. Today our guest lecturer will be Mr. Leon to share with us his experience in this industry. So hi Mr. Leon. To kickstart our conversation for today, can you tell us a little bit on how did you evolve in this field of hospitality? Tell us a little bit of your education background too.
Right. Okay. Hello everyone. Thanks for getting me on today, and it's quite random, but well, we'll see as we go. So the first question: how did I get involved in this field of hospitality? Okay. Fun fact: this wasn't what my parents envisioned me to do.
Oh.
Okay. So as every Asian, typical Asian parent, they would say, "Hey, boy, go get a degree in engineering or medicine and stuff like that." So that's what my sister did. My sister did medicine, right? Dentistry. So she's a dentist right now. But for me, I started off following whatever they wanted me, whatever they envisioned me to do, which was engineering. So long story short, I did a foundation in engineering, completed it within a year, and then I thought to myself, this wasn't something that I felt comfortable doing. Okay, I just can't stand the fact that I have to sit down, look at data, or deal with machineries, or being confined in a space where I can't express myself. So then I thought to myself, I enjoy aviation. I do enjoy aviation. Flights, aeroplane, just the whole operations, or even like being in an airport, right? So that itself is hospitality already. Part of aviation is. A big part of aviation belongs to the hospitality industry as well. So I wanted to be a pilot. Besides that, however, unfortunately, I'm colorblind. So that's how I actually got into the field of hospitality. So right after the foundation in engineering, I told my parents, "Nah, this is not something I want to do." I said, "Okay, since you completed it, your choice." Then I said, "Okay, let me go into hospitality." So that's how I ended into hospitality. Long story short lah. So education background. So I started in diploma. Okay, diploma for about 2.5 years, 2 years, half year of internship, and then I did it with KDU, University College. So that back then it was just over here, Damansara Jaya, right? It's quite nearby. After that, I did an internship. So my career progression was like study, work, study, work, study, work. So in a way, kind of balancing my experiences in line with my education levels. So started off with diploma, 2 years, and I worked for a little bit for an internship, then got offered a contract, and then went to UK for my degree. So since diploma's results were pretty good, I just got offered to do my final year degree. So I didn't have to do year 1 and year 2, but that was in UK. So I flew to UK, spent a total of 4 years in UK. With University of Sunderland for my degree for just the final year. It was stressful because without having a background of year 1 and year 2 of degree, they expect you to churn out year 3 quality of assignments and papers. So that was quite an experience, I would say. It definitely shapes you to have more confidence and definitely puts you under the pressure cooker. Okay, for assignments and things like that, because requirements are tough. The requirements are actually quite steep for year 3 student requirement. So then, after having done my degree, I went on to do my masters, also in UK, in the same area, in North East, but different universities. So I went to Northumbria University in Newcastle for my masters for another 2 years. So after that, worked as well. So total of my years in UK was about 4+. Yeah, so that's education.
So we have listened your education journey. Can you tell us about your experience in this industry?
So experience, as I mentioned, experience-wise, I've done education and work, and then education and then work, right? Study, work. So the reasoning, as I mentioned, to balance the levels, because this industry, it requires you not only to have such education background, however, depends on your direction of where you're going, because hospitality is huge, right? You can end up in management, or you can still end up focusing on operations, but on a higher level operations maybe. Okay, so for me, my journey, my experience started off as an intern, right, in Club Mature, I think, just for operations itself, other operations, right? So internship 6 months, then got off a year contract offered in Club Metropolitan. So it's an all inclusive resort setting. So basically guests go there, right? They just pay once. Everything's included: drinks, food, activities. So when I was doing my interning there, it was hard work because we were required to work like almost 9 to 12 midnight almost every single day. Yeah. So the reason being so is that we are carrying out duties during the day, 9 to 5. After that, it's party time. So we're required to party weekends, meaning entertainment, performances, and shows and things like that. So that's the entertainment that they have for party time, right? So that was quite an experience, I would say, compared to a normal hotel where you just work 9 to 5 and then you go back home.
Yeah.
So that's resort life, right? So that's my experience for resort. And then after when I flew to UK, right after that I flew to UK, I studied, as mentioned, and I worked at the same time as a student ambassador for the university. So I employed under the university as a student ambassador. So that's part of hospitality as well. Okay, meaning showing students around the campus, new students, conduct your first few days of induction, right? So of course students won't be comfortable because they're new, like new students, right? When you come in, first time you come into university, you don't know what university life is.
Yeah.
So that's where I come in as a student ambassador, and you educate, or rather show them the experience that the possibilities that you can get it yourself into in university life. And with that experience, also like having buddying programs whereby new students, or rather prospective students, they want to look for university and course that they're doing, so they follow you to class. Yeah, so it's your job to tell them, hey, this is what we study. For hospitality, this is what we study. This is what's after this, what's that. So it's basically like a day in the life of a hospitality student. So they follow you on. So that's one of the other experiences that I've had. Also, then fast forward from there, after my masters, while I was doing my masters, actually, I was supposed to work and carry out my research at the same time. So I did that. I was attached to, this time it's a hotel, like a proper hotel. Okay, so resort, and then university, and then now hotel, whereby I am supposed to carry out my research at the same time. So I was attached with Novotel. I don't know if you heard of the hotel, Novotel. It's under one of the big groups, Accor groups, from France. So it was quite an interesting journey. I was with them for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. So after I graduated from my masters, since I was already working with them, they said, hey, why don't just continue working for us? Yeah. So continued on for a while, and then political things happened in UK. I don't know if you know about Brexit. So it was tough to obtain a visa after. So that's where I came back home. So after coming back home, this is where the continuation of my career starts as well. I was attached to Grand Hyatt Kuala Lumpur. It's in front of KLCC. Well, not really in front, but beside KL Commercial Centre. So that's where my career officially develops further. So I started as a management trainee, and then after management trainee, then I was there for like 3 years. So total of 4 years over there. So after management training, I managed to land myself in a management position for the hotel and hospitality industry. So yeah, that's my experience so far.
So what are the requirements for being a hoteler?
Requirements? I would say definitely in the industry, right, you'll find people that work from scratch, meaning they don't even have a diploma. Right, but that obviously is going to take them a very, 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 very long time to achieve a management role. So the whole goal is for you to climb the ladder, right? So in hospitality, the ladder is huge, right? For you to climb step by step, it takes time and experience. So having a diploma or degree definitely helps to kickstart your career. Like for myself, I went up all the way through a master's, right? So for my master's, it enables me to secure a management training program much easier when I came back here. Much easier, because they know that with the masters you are more focused on management, so management oriented. So then with that, I think your experience has to be tallied out with your education as well, because if you are a fresh grad, this is what I see in the industry before as well. If you are a fresh grad and you have no experience, you still need to balance out your experience. You still need to gain your experience first before being able to be handed over tasks of management tasks, or being able to work independently, even as a team leader. So that means junior management. So team leaders, supervisors, those are very junior management levels. But before you even reach there, right, you need to start from scratch. So that's why it's important to balance out your education and your qualifications as well. I mean your working experience as well. So that's requirement, I guess. But besides that, I think anyone can do it as long as you have the passion for hospitality, because service always comes from the heart, right? I would say that always. This is what my previous general manager, when I was in the industry, mentioned as well. Always remember, when you serve guests, make sure it's from the heart. So, with that being said, when you're in the hospitality industry, your personal problems or whatsoever has to be swept aside. That being said, service is service, personal life. You can't mix personal life and work together. Why? Because you want to ensure that the service you render out reflects the brand that you're working for. It's always from the heart.
So how you calm down the emotion?
How I calm down my emotion?
Yeah, because I think sometimes you have some customers that
Yeah, I understand. There will be difficult customers, that's for sure. Because put yourself in their shoes, right? Imagine them having, let's say they have had a long bad day at work. All they want to do is to come to the hotel and relax. And the only way that they can turn into a nasty customer, or rather behave in a way that is rude, or or complains and start shouting at you, is that when they still need to face something or other issues when they come to your flat, or when they come for a holiday. So that's not the thing that you want. So it's understandable that they will act out that way. However, I wouldn't say everyone will act out that way. So how to handle is that you just need to assure them, you just need to give them assurance. And the reason why they act out this way is because something wasn't right in the state, right? And that's something for management to look into, and that's where myself, before this, I stepped in and I said, hey, what went wrong? How can we fix this? So that's a way to calm them down, And of course, it has to come from the heart. I say it has to come from the heart. As long as you put yourself in their shoes, I think that's where you can understand. Yeah.
So, can you explain the difference of working as front desk officer and a lecturer?
I think one very, very obvious difference will be the target audience. Like for a lecturer, of course, you're teaching students, right?
Yeah.
For front office, you're teaching. You're serving guests.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the target audience is different. However, I would say the things that we do as management, it kind of relates to whatever lecturer does as well. Let's say if my previous position was assistant front office manager / duty manager, overlooking operations in Grand Hyatt Kuala Lumpur. So that I have to carry out trainings. I have to carry out constant updating of staff trainings and make sure my team is always educated and is always up to date with the current trends. Number one, and what are the things and standards that we need to impart into them. So that requires me to teach, right, to lecture, to train. So that doesn't really differ much from lecturing, I would say. So it's just a different target audience. Instead of teaching my team, I'm teaching students to prepare them for what the requirements are for the industry. Yeah. So yeah, that's the difference, I would say. Working as front desk. I think the other difference is, of course, when I was working, I deal with a lot of royalties, VIPs. Oh, I forgot to mention. One of the other experience that I managed to have was right after my diploma. I got called to work for the Sultan of Brunei in the palace. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was a little bit of
just fresh graduate.
Correct. So shortlisted according to results, performance. Because hospitality is not all about paperwork. If you notice, right, there's a lot of theoretical subjects as well. So which means you need to perform service, like you're trained how to perform service, how to carry out service, how to run a restaurant, how to operate the F&B department, how to run the front office department, right? So with that being said, right, even diploma you get a hint of management, what management will expect you to do. And in degree you're grouped more towards a management role. Yeah, so with that being said, for diploma level, if you perform well, people like this, like affiliations, right, like this kind of organizations or other government agencies, right, if they have ties with the university, they will look up for you. They will look up for you. So for my case, I was very lucky. I didn't apply for it. Okay,
Wow.
I didn't apply for it. I didn't look for it. It was just that my program coordinator at the time said, hey, he sent in my name, he sent me my resume and stuff like that. Because we have to send in our resume because of course we have resume writing, right? So once we have done that, the lecturer has a copy. So my ex-lecturer, my previous lecturer had a copy of my CV, or resume, so he just sent it in. Because they came to the uni and they said, we need this number of people, but we need this capability. We only want people that that can carry out high pressure tasks. So only a handful was selected. So I was very fortunate, basically. I was very lucky and fortunate to have that experience, to fly over to Brunei. All expenses paid.
Wow.
They put us up in hotel, transportation, flight, food, everything taken care of, just to go for the Sultan Brunei. Because it was a ASEAN Summit event. So I was attached to the Australian Prime Minister as a PA, personal assistant. So whatever wants, needs, is going in and out, I have to facilitate that.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So
that's part of
this
it.
is your, will you name it as your best experience?
Yeah. Can say best experience lah. Because I don't think anyone would have that opportunity
Yeah, really.
there and then to just enter the palace. Number
Mm.
one, number two, even get up close with royalty. Yeah, because royalty, I mean, name also royalty, right? So their name speaks for itself, whereby security is going to be very, very tight. So I've seen a lot of things while working in the palace that unfortunately I can't disclose.
Yeah.
But some of the experiences are really crazy. So later did I know, the owner of Grand Hyatt Kuala Lumpur, my previous company, is also owned by Sultan Brunei. So yes, I had the opportunity to work for him again after that. So when I was with Grand Hyatt, he pays a visit every single year. So every year when he comes, I'll be attached with
Oh, I see.
that royalty family. So throughout the
So
stay.
may I ask for your worst experience?
Worst experience? Worst experience? So I really need to think.
Mostly are good.
Yeah, I would say most are really fond memories, very good fond memories that I can reflect back on and say, wow, I actually did this and that. This is something that I've never dreamt of. Like some of the people you never think you'll meet, you come across. That's the benefit of the industry in hospitality, right? Because it's leisure. So these people, they look towards leisure, like holidays and things like that. So least favorite, I think probably being put under super intense pressure while working for royalty, because royalty will take no for an answer. I can tell you that. I mean, it's rude to say no. I mean, they're your VVIPs. I mean, not only VV, I would say VVIPs, they're royalty, right? So they have schedules to be met. They have places to go. So you have to work immensely under pressure. And I wouldn't say that is a bad experience. That's something that when you look back and you say, wow, I managed to go through that, overcome that, and that made me who I am today. So at that point, of course, you complain like, man, why did I sign up? Why me? Why did I sign up? But at the end of the day, it's rewarding, I would say. So not really a bad experience, but yeah, tough. It's not easy.
So, becoming a hotelier was stressful. You need to deal with the fussy guests. After being in this industry for so long, do you agree?
I do agree. I definitely do not deny that guests will be fussy. They are fussy guests because it depends on the organization or the company you work, and that reflects of the levels of service they will expect you to produce. So imagine you go to a 5-star, rather 6-star hotel. Service is not up to par. Of course, you'll be upset, and that's where guests will be fussy. Why? Because they are paying such high amount and they're not getting the thing that they deserve. So ultimately, these are the things sometimes you can't control as managers, right? Or as duty managers or head of departments. You can't control this. Why? Because your team, they face these issues on a day-to-day basis, right? They check in, they do check in, they do check out, and you get guests where they have complaints. So that, like I say, this is where I step in and I try to understand the situation. So there will be definitely, because why? Expectations are not met. Yeah, and some things that you can't control. For example, I would say maybe the age of the hotel. Sometimes it's a 5-star, 6-star hotel, but the hotel's old. right? And some things that you can't control, like they'll tell you like, oh, the design of the room is old, right? The only thing you can assure them is like, probably tell them, okay, you know, we are looking into this and we will ensure that, you know, we'll take your comment into consideration and we will upgrade and we'll try our best to build a better version. Obviously, these kind of comments and feedback we have to carry forward to even higher management, meaning the owners. So to say like, hey, these are the comments that you're getting and this will affect the business. Because why? People will post this out into social media. Social media, you know, today, such a powerful tool. It's very fast. One post by anyone, I would say, not only reputable people, anyone, and you'll circulate. The amount of shares you get is quite scary, I would say. So it's important for you to close that down before they even reach social media. So yeah, there will definitely be fussy guests. There will definitely be fussy guests. Some which are, I would say, they have the right to do so, but some you have to filter basically. Some they are just going overboard. Why? Because they want free things. So that's something that we need to deal with on a day-to-day basis, and we have to get around that. So having a management mindset and being trained for that definitely helps us through experience. And also education. This one really definitely lies heavily with your qualification and education. So if you're studying a degree, you have room towards that. So yeah.
So what is the key challenge that you think will be faced by hospitality and tourism industry in the future?
Key challenge, manpower, definitely, because demand is always getting stronger. Like for example, like you see right now, right, after COVID, the first thing impacted is hospitality and tourism. Right, after COVID, the first thing that's getting back, everyone wants to travel. They can't take it being stuck in their homes, stuck in your own country. Even in your own country, you're being stuck in your own state, right? You can't really go anywhere. So the first thing that opened up is local tourism. And when that opened up, you got not enough staff. So I think it's going to get even crazier after this. And you can see right now, another brilliant example is airfares. They're going higher and higher. They're not getting cheaper, right? So with airfares going higher and higher, it shows you that the demand of travel is ever increasing. It's constantly increasing. And with even high prices, right, hotel rooms are increasing their prices. People still will stay because it is growing. It is going to get even bigger. So I would say manpower will definitely be an issue in the coming foreseeable future. Because of COVID before this, companies closed, you know, there's no reason to have people to stay around to pay. So a lot of people unfortunately have been laid off. I was very fortunate that I wasn't laid off because of the owner. Okay, so that situation for a lot of companies, they're facing shortage of staff. Yeah, because of this particular reason, COVID.
And also last time when the COVID things come out, then the very last student continue to.
Correct. People are scared. People don't see a future in this. But I'll tell students right now again that look, now the demand is crazy. We are the first to close, yes, I agree, but we are the first to open up again.
Yeah, true.
The demand that hospitality needs right now is intense. It's a lot, and there are a lot of opportunities out there. It's just up to you to discover what suits your personality or what suits your interest in hospitality. So it's up to you to discover basically.
So support staff plays an important role in a hotel too. Can you tell me why is it important?
Support staff in terms of part-timers?
Maybe.
Part-timers?
Can be.
Right, I'll bring it back to COVID again. Right after COVID, people want to get married, for example. Because they've been stuck in their homes, they cannot carry out ceremonies, they cannot hold weddings. So after COVID, you get a backlog of all these pent up, I would say 2 years of not being able to carry out weddings, right? So then this is where support staff comes into play, because like I mentioned before this, manpower is an issue. It is a big issue right now and it's critical. Why? Because even as duty managers, right, I will tell you before this, the whole hotel comes down to the banquet room. Why? Because we don't have enough staff. We need to support. And even so, when we first opened for COVID, financially the hotel needs to stabilize first. Why? Because the pump of the pump of customers hasn't really reached the hotel. Why? Because people are still a bit cautious here and there. That is right after, literally once lockdowns being lifted up, right? COVID is still around, so people are a little bit more cautious. But right now, people don't really care anymore. Okay, I will tell you that in hotels, and mask is not even mandatory. So COVID is still around. COVID now is treated as just a regular, it's just like a regular virus, or So with that being said, more events and happenings are taking place in hotels, like banquet, wedding dinners, even wedding ceremonies doing hotels. Companies are doing the annual events again. So these things, right, are big events. These events are huge events. I would say at the scale of 500 to 1,000 people attending, just attending in 5-star hotels right now. And that's just one 5-star hotel. How about the others around KL? There's so many. And not even 5-star hotels, I would say convention places, or rather event spaces. A lot of people are doing it. So support staff are really important. Why? Because the demand is crazy right now. This is why I say, when we first opened, right, even my boss, which is the director of operations, has to come down and do banqueting. Because even when we hire part-timers, right, we don't have the financial capacity to over-hire. Because that time we just opened, right? But now, of course, they are very solid because the demand's back, right? And people are traveling. There's no restriction. So, and another thing is to train, right? We don't have enough time to train in such a short period of time because it's so sudden. Government announced, right, lockdown lifted, there's no more restriction. Immediately overnight, reservations get full, hotel gets overbooked. Yeah, because people say, hey, we can go out, we can party right now, we can go for holiday, we can. It's free. People are feeling it. They feel so happy, they feel so relieved that they can go out on holiday. You see, I would say even embarrassed, even for myself. I was so looking forward towards a nice, good holiday. Just to get out of KL, to go somewhere just to relax. Because, you've been pent up in your homes for so long. So that was one of the reasons why support staff is really important for the hospitality industry. Even today, hotels, and I would only say hotels, like any of the hospitality establishment, are constantly looking for part-timers. Yeah, very commonly F&B.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, they're looking for part-timers, especially for students. Good money, I would say. You work for an hour, they're more than willing to pay you 200 ringgit for maybe one time or maybe a week or so. It depends on the company's spending power as well. What kind of company you can work for. So yeah, support.
Okay, so alright, before we dismiss, what are your advice for those who may wanted or interested to start their journey as a hotelier?
Advice, I would say, make sure that you enjoy the hospitality industry, number one. Okay, because for me, I do enjoy the hospitality industry. When I go out to hotels, I enjoy the service that I receive, right? So for me, I feel like I want to return that back to the community, to the people around me. Because it's rewarding to see people enjoy these services, and the happiness is rendered to them, and it's good to immediate effect. So to aspiring hoteliers or people that want to come into the hospitality industry, you have to be strong. Okay, you have to be strong, and the passion has to be there. Okay, and you have to prepare yourself that you're not going to get always a 9-to-5 job. Okay, because hotel runs 24 hours, so be prepared for that. But I would say be prepared for things that other people won't be able to even dream of experiencing. Like for myself, right?
Yeah,
I've never dreamt of flying and working for certain umbrella, or even landing myself in Grand Hyatt again, and even working for events in Grand Hyatt where I see VVIPs. So many VVIPs I've met, and I hope I served them. They came to stay. Few honorable mention will be like Dato' Lee. He came a few times, and I have to guide him to throughout his day. And also Hari Iskandar, I don't know, Hari Iskandar, Malaysian comedian, the family they came.